All right, so welcome back, everyone. It's lovely to see you all as always. And let's begin by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. Allowing that opening feeling in your heart, that expansion feeling in your chest. Imagining that bright light that starts in your heart and spreads all the way through your body, filling all the cells of your body, loving each cell just for existing, no matter what. And then allowing that light, that energy to fill the little you, loving that child just for existing. Very good. And then allowing that light, that energy to fill everyone else on the call today and all those watching the recording. Loving each one just for existing. No judgment, no expectations, just love. Very good. All right, you can open your eyes if you have them closed. So, all right, so I've got a teaching point today that's come out of a question that I received. And I've got, so on the list today, I'm going to answer Ilja's question from yesterday it was the weekend, from Friday, from the chat on Friday, because I hadn't seen it until afterwards. And then on the list for today, we have Sarah, followed by Tina, and then Jessica, and then Swasti. And I know that today's going to go on longer because we have more people, and the teaching point for today may take a little longer because this is such an important one for everyone. And we're okay with it being longer today. So if you have to go, of course, do just let me know if you're on the list and you have to go, because then I'll do you before you go. And of course, if you do have to leave early, that's okay. Just be sure to watch the recording so you don't miss out. All right, so the teaching point for today, and this, as I say, it comes from a message I received from someone, but it applies to everyone. So that's why I thought it would make a good topic for a teaching point. And it's, I haven't seen movement towards my goal yet, or I haven't got my goal yet, or there's no sign of my goal yet. And so it's a tricky one. It can be a tricky one because it takes a big shift in perception that is can be difficult to get used to at first, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So when you think of your goal, whatever that is, so whether it is, and I'm going to share some of my own experience as well, but whether it is, money, health, moving somewhere, living where you want to live, being in a relationship, whatever that goal is, it seems like that's the only thing that's the only way to get what you want. It seems like that's the only way to feel safe, to have, to enjoy yourself, to feel good, to feel empowered, whatever those end result feelings are. It looks like that's the only thing you want. But in order to get what you want, whether it turns out to be that thing or something completely different, you need to let go of the thing. You need to let go of that particular goal. And so the way to do that is to drill down. So what is the worst thing? What's wrong with not getting this? So let's say, the example I was sent by message was health, healing, having full healing, physical healing. So then the idea, and this person said, been doing everything you've been telling me to do, and I still haven't reached, I haven't seen any significant sign of physical healing. And so I know that feeling so well of I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm following the instructions and I'm not getting the results. And I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. But here's the thing with all of this is looking at that end result. So the physical healing. So now think about, okay, so let's say I never get healed. Let's say I never actually reach that goal of being healed. Excuse me, let's say it gets worse. What's the worst that can happen? What is the thing that I most don't want? So, sorry. How bad is it going to get? And what is it about that that scares me most, that worries me most, that makes me most angry, whatever that is? Because there's a reason, and the reason is going to depend on the individual as to why this goal is so important, including, so people with cancer, what happens if I don't heal? What's the worst thing? For some people, it'll be the illness itself. It'll be the symptoms. For some people, it'll be a fear of dying. For some people, it'll be not, being separated from their loved ones. So it's going to vary, or being a burden on their loved ones. So there's all different things. And of course, what those issues are going to depend on references. But the first step is drilling down. So let's say I never achieve this particular goal. How bad is it going to get? And what's wrong with that? What's the worst thing about it? Now, of course, this is not something that we want. Obviously, we don't want to not have the goal. But the key is letting go of it, which is not the same as giving up, which I'll explain in a minute, the difference between those two, but letting go of it in order to allow whatever may happen, whatever we may end up having. So the difference between giving up and letting go of a goal or a dream. Giving up is the feeling, the internal experience. So the feeling of giving up would be, I'm never going to get it, and there's no hope, and why can't I have it? So there's the disappointment, the fear, the hopelessness and helplessness. That's giving up. Letting go is about going, okay, so I don't have it right now. I may or may not get it. And that's okay. Being okay with not having the thing. Because as long as you're Steve and I were talking this morning, and he mentioned a bowl. So if you've got a bowl that's empty and you want something in this bowl, so you do and there's a lot of misinformation and things, misleading information to do with the law of attraction, for example, and affirmations and things like that. So the idea is supposedly that if you imagine you've got this empty bowl and you use affirmations and visualization, you go, my bowl is full, my bowl is full, my bowl is full. And you feel, oh yeah, I can feel that my bowl is full, and you're visualizing, you've got all the feelings going, but every time you open your eyes, the bowl is still empty. What happens then is, of course, every time you look at the bowl, you feel the disappointment, the hopelessness, the helplessness, depending on what references are there. So you want to get to the point where you are okay with the bowl being empty, where you are able to love yourself, the bowl, and the emptiness of the bowl, exactly as it is, without needing it to change. So let's say this bowl never gets filled. What will I do then? Let's say I never heal. What will I do then? Let's say I never get the money, never get any more money, stay in debt. What will I do then? Let's say I can't pay my bills and I end up on the street, sleeping on a bench. What will I do then? Let's say I never get a relationship. I end up alone and I grow old alone with no relationship, no friends. What will I do then? So that you're not fighting the thing, you are, number one, making peace with it, and number two, you know what you'll do if that happens, which takes away that fear, that drama, that the unknown, which is all stirring up stress chemicals. It doesn't mean that you won't get your thing. It doesn't mean you won't get your goal. You won't reach your goal. You won't get your dream. It just means that you're not struggling and holding on and insisting that this is the way that you will get to be how you want to be. So an analogy I've used before is you're sitting at the airport, you want to get a flight to Hawaii. Now, Hawaii represents the feelings inside of I feel safe and I feel loved and connection. That's Hawaii. Doesn't matter how that comes about. We think we know how that will, the only way that will come about. The only way that will come about is if I'm healed. The only way I'll feel safe and loved and connection is if I have a relationship. The only way I'll feel loved and safe and connected is if I move to another place, if I don't live in this place, if I have more money. All of those details are not the real thing. Because if you did get your goal, you won't necessarily feel the way you think it'll make you feel, but you can feel the way you want to feel without those details. And that is the key. That's the empowering piece. So now, in the meantime, you're dealing with the things that you don't want, which is not easy. It's not nice. It's not easy. It's hard, but that's the way it is right now. And so therefore, the more you're able to make peace with it, the easier it will be to get through it and to get what you want. So you're sitting at the airport, and you think that the flight to Hawaii is leaving from this gate. That's what you've understood. So you're sitting at the gate and you're insisting that the plane to Hawaii needs to leave from this gate. Now, it may be leaving from another gate. But as long as you insist it's got to leave from this gate, because this is the gate that they said it would leave from, and now it's not here, it's not leaving yet. But the more you insist on sitting at that gate, the less likely you are to ever get that plane. So the idea is to go, okay, well, it may not leave from this gate. I'm sure it's supposed to leave from this gate, but maybe not. So I'll keep my eye open, my ear open, in case I see something here. So then there's an announcement, it's leaving from a different gate, and I will be willing to go to that other gate in order to get on that plane. The equivalent of that is, I want to feel loved, safe, and connected. That's the end result. I want to feel loved, safe, and connected. Everything else is gates. So I want to feel loved, safe, and connected. And I think that I will feel loved, safe, and connected if I get into a loving relationship, if I have more money, if I'm physically healed. But I'm prepared to let go of those details because it may be a different way. So I'm going to give examples here. One of the, I'm going to use the physical health example, because that's the message I got, and I know it applies to a few people. So let's say the physical symptoms, whatever those physical symptoms you have, let's say they never go. Let's say you end up living with these physical symptoms, and maybe they even get worse, depending on what you're worried about. Let's say worst case scenario happens. So what will you do then? I mean, if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. The only thing you do have control over is how you experience those physical symptoms. Not whether, you know, there are certain things a person can do to heal and look after yourself. Obviously, do all the medical side of it, take all the nutrients and the water and the rest and everything that you're advised to do and that you know you need to do. But be with everyone, whether it's physical symptoms or not, get to the point where you have made peace with whatever that end result is that you don't want. If the worst case scenario happens, this is what I'll do. Because when you start doing that, your prefrontal cortex comes online and you're then open to, it may be a different gate. Now, an example is helping others. So if you're in a situation right now that you don't want, so whether that's lack of money, lack of relationship, physical issues, whatever those situations are, use what you do have to connect with others. Now, this is obviously in addition to practicing the superpower, unconditional love for yourself, regardless of what condition you're in, regardless of what's going on around you, what your circumstances are. Unconditional love radiating out from you to everything and everyone around you, and practicing the childhood memories, changing childhood memories, practicing the new childhood memories. Now, in addition to that, ask yourself, so what can I do now to help someone else? Can I write something? Can I write a blog? What are my strengths? Have I got a good sense of humor? Am I witty? Do I know something about a particular subject? What can I offer to help and support others? So here's the basic human priority list. Top priority, survival. So because if we don't survive, we can't help anybody else either. But right under top that survival priority, the second priority is altruism, helping others. As long as a human being feels safe, the next the next natural instinct and urge is to help others. And by safe, I mean not in danger, obviously, but also feeling safe to the subconscious also means loved and connected. So I feel loved, connected, at peace. I have an abundance of all of that. And now, notice I didn't say money, but now I want to help others because I feel like I've got enough. I'm going to survive. And so now I want to help others. Anyone who is selfish, in other words, they don't want to help others, or is helping others instead of helping themselves, both of those are survival state. The only thing that's not survival state is when you feel, I have enough, I'm safe, now I want to help everyone else. And that's what you want to aim for. And you do not need to be physically healed. You do not need to have lots of money. You do not need to be in a relationship or living where you want to live in order to be in that state, because it's an emotional state. It's a chemical state. So wherever you are right now, however far you feel you are from the goal you feel you want, the aim, the real goal is to get into a state of peace within yourself, no matter what happens. Whether you heal, whether you get more money, whether you get a relationship, whether you move house, whether you do a particular career or job, none of that matters. Can I sit where I am right now in the situation and conditions I'm in and feel love and safe? And then from there, what can I do to help others? And because as long as you stay fixated on a particular goal and insist that that's the goal that you need to have, you're holding yourself back by holding on to that. So that's one piece of that. The other piece I wanted to address is the idea of something outside of me giving me something. So, the universe, God, angels, higher self, whatever you believe in, this is not about whether those things exist or not. It depends on the individual as to what you believe. But what is true is that whatever those things or beings or whatever they are, it's not their job to save you in that way or to get your goal for you. Now, if you believe that that is the case, so some people will say, well, yep, I pray to God and I rely on God to grant to answer my prayers. That's fantastic. That's great. But then when you don't get what you want, what do you answer? So some people will say, well, it's just that it's not that God doesn't want to, and it's not that that God doesn't care. It's that God has different plans for me. And that's absolutely fine. Then answer that. So then when you say, oh, but I haven't got my goal yet, then answer, okay, then God must have different plans for me. And that's okay. On the other hand, if that's not your belief, then remind yourself that so if you believe in something beyond you, see that being or power or entities or whatever as watching and cheering you on, but they're not going to sit on your lap and drive for you. You are driving your car. And they are on the sidelines cheering, supporting, yes, come on, we're rooting for you and all of that. But don't be sitting there in your driver's seat expecting them to get on your lap and drive for you, right? You wanna go, okay, yeah, so I'm driving my own car. It's a natural tendency, and I had this myself, of I've been a good girl, now where's my thing? Or I've been a good girl, so stop punishing me. And that's, a natural, because that's from childhood, of course. We're at the mercy of adults, whether we're expecting them to give us something or we're worried about them punishing us. That's in childhood. I rely on or suffer at the hands of something outside of me. Now, as adults, we are the only ones who decide what we get, what we don't get, what we feel, what we don't feel. So I know I used to have that thing of, but I've done the visualization, I'm being good. Why aren't I being helped? Why am I still, have I still got no money? Why am I still not getting what I want? That's a very disempowering state to be in. So you want to be at the point where you go, okay, well, I'm not getting what I want. All right, so what can I do? What can I do? Let me make peace with not getting what I want. And now I move to another thing. So I know I've told this before, but my dream used to be, or the only thing I thought I wanted, was living in Hollywood as an actress, working in film and television. And that was everything to me. And I would have done anything to be able to make that happen. And I was devastated that time after time, against all odds, I seemed to be, falling back, not getting anywhere, all of that. And that's where my focus was. And as soon as I went, okay, well, maybe that's not it. It's weird to think it's not, because that's all I know, but maybe it's not. Let me open up, let me back off and go, okay, the way I want to feel is I love my life. I love my life. I love my life, no matter what I'm doing, where I'm living, who I'm with. And then I ended up here where I am now. And I would not move to Hollywood and be an actress if you paid me $1 million. I absolutely, it's not what I want at all, but I'm living what I was feeling. I wanted to end up feeling. So I hope that helps. So the key points here are, do what, drill down. What's the worst that can happen? What if, let's say nothing changes and I never get what I want? What's wrong with that? What am I most worried about? Drill down and make peace with that. Your end goal that you want to get to is, if I end up in the worst situation, I know that I have the power in me to create my own chemistry inside me and feel good anyway. Feel love, feel connected, feel safe inside me, no matter what's going on around me, no matter what state I'm in. Now, and I understand that with physical symptoms, it is so much more difficult, but that's the only choice. So if you've got the physical symptoms anyway, then you have a choice. You're fighting them, or you're at peace with them. And it's not easy, but it's possible. So that's there. And then what can I do now to help others? And once you've made peace with the worst case scenario, you may still get your goal. Let me make that clear. You may very well still get your goal, but you won't be arm wrestling with it. And so in the meantime, you're bringing your prefrontal cortex online, and you will get creative about the goals and dreams that you can achieve from where you are. So I hope that helps. And of course, let me know if you need clarification or you still have questions. I know that was a long teaching point, but I hope, oh, good. I'm glad, Carrie. Good job.
And there is a follow-up question from Natasha as well in here.
Oh, yes. Question on teaching point. So the empowerment, oops, I jumped. The empowerment just makes you feel good in that moment, but it does not actually change the situation. Just looking for clarification, please. Okay, great question, Natasha. Thank you for asking for that clarification. Exactly. So yes, it empowers you, but the empowerment is the end result. So let's say I want to feel, and I'm going to use perhaps something from my own life, which is I want to feel connected to my brother. Okay. Now, if I could go back in time, I would have gone over to South Africa earlier. I would have spent more time with him. I would have stayed in contact more. There's a whole lot of stuff that I would do if I could go back in time, but I can't. I can't undo his death. That's just the way it is. So this is what I'm saying. When there's something that, well, you can't, there's nothing you can do right now to change it. So perhaps you don't have the money, you don't have the health, you don't have the relationship, or someone's dead. That's the way it is. So then what you can do is make peace with that. So, okay, so unfortunately I can't change it. He's gone. So now what's the worst thing about it? And addressing that, changing the references for it, and getting to a point where I can sit here without my brother being alive and still feel connection, peace, and love. So now that state of connection, peace, and love actually has nothing to do with my brother. It has nothing to do with where I'm living. It has nothing to do with the money I have. It has nothing to do with my relationship. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's created inside me. And from here, then there may be different circumstances that happen, but it's not reliant on that. So the truth is that, like you say, that state of empowerment is empowerment in the moment, but it's ongoing. You can stay in that state of empowerment. You can practice it and stay in it. And you're not relying on things outside of you to be able to do that, because it's a chemical state. It's still a chemical state. It's not the other people. It's not the money. It's not even the health that creates that chemical state inside you. It's your brain. So does that answer that question? Does that clarify that, Natasha? If not, let me know if you need more clarification on that. Oh, good. I'm glad, Sadia. Good job. All right. And so in the meantime, I'm going to answer Ilya's question now from Friday. Ilya asked, do you have any tips for when you know you have to do this work, but you're avoiding it? So great question, Ilya. And this goes for anything you know you need to do or you want to do. But Natasha says, yes, thanks. A hard concept to grasp and put into practice. It really is, but it gets easier. And, you know, when I was struggling, unable to pay my bills and couldn't see any way out, I couldn't see how I was ever going to get any money. I couldn't see how I was ever going to leave the rented room I was living in Gloucester. I couldn't see how I would certainly ever get to America. But I made peace with it. And I went, right, well, worst case scenario, I never get any more money. I end up on the street. I have to go to a shelter and, you know, rely on charity of an organization or something like that. I'm sitting on a park bench somewhere. And then what? What will I do then? And because I'd been practicing the superpower, I thought, well, I'll just sit there and appreciate the birds and the trees and conjure that feeling inside me and feel that feeling of love and unconditional love for myself and everything around me. And that's all I'll do. And if that's all I do for the rest of my life, that's okay. So it's difficult at first, but you can get to that point. And the wonderful thing is, if you're able to get to that point and you practice it, you will probably never have to go to the worst case scenario, because your prefrontal cortex will be online, you'll come up with other options, you'll be open to other opportunities and solutions that you hadn't seen before, and so on. But it's that make that your priority. Worst case scenario, what will I do then? And how can I be in a state of love right there? Reminding yourself that feeling of safety, unconditional love, and connection, that is all there is.
Odille, I just wanted to jump in real quick that going through that process of reconciling, getting to that place of loving the worst case scenario will also likely bring up the programs that are standing in the way, the programs that are causing the fear in the first place.
Yes, absolutely.
So just sit, okay, I need to make peace with the worst case scenario. It's like, boom, I'm now confronted with that fear. So that the first step is dealing with those programs that are arising.
Right. Yes, and of course, yes, practicing the new childhood memories, changing the old childhood memories, practicing the bookmark memories, and I know I've said this before, but I can't emphasize it enough, practicing aiming unconditional love at inanimate objects, not for the object, but for yourself, because as you do that, you're getting your state, you're practicing being in that state of unconditional love, which is the most empowered state you can be in. So as I'm looking at this lamp, can I love this lamp just for existing, no matter what? I look at the glass of water, I love it, just for existing, and so on. And practicing, the more you do it, the easier. And Swasti says, on this teaching point, I just wanted to share an incident from some months ago whilst using this method. I took an aptitude test to get into medical school, and the whole test went really badly, and there were tears. I got a score that I knew wasn't going to get me anywhere. But at that point, Odille helped me make peace with never getting in. We discussed alternative courses, parents' reactions, etc. And amazingly, I got to take the test again, which has never, ever been done before, and got a score that was good enough to get into medical school that I'll be going to in September, which was a dream before. Thank you so much, Swasti, for sharing that. So that's an excellent example. Make peace with what you don't want. Genuinely make peace with it. So, okay, well, if that happens, then what else can I do? What will I do then? So, I don't get the money I want. What will I do then? I don't get the healing that I want. What will I do then? I don't get, and those with physical symptoms, like I say, I know that's more difficult to deal with, but it's still possible, because whatever's going on with you physically, there are other people in the world that are dealing with something similar or sometimes worse, whatever, who are doing something else. In other words, who are living a life where they're achieving, they're writing books, they're speaking, they're helping others in some way, or they're just enjoying what they do have. So I hope that helps. And thank you, Swasti, for sharing that. All right, so very good. So now, so Ilya's question. So as I was saying, that this goes for anything that you know that you have to do, or you should do, or you want to do in order to get specific results, but you're avoiding it. So whether you're avoiding something or not, generally speaking, will depend on where you're looking. So remind yourself that we're always moving forward. You never go backwards or sideways. We are always moving forward in the direction we're facing at the time. Now, sometimes we've turned around and faced the back, and then we go that way. So we are always moving forward in the direction we want, in the direction we are facing. So make sure you're always facing the front. Face the direction you want to end up in. So, for example, let's say, let's use this example then of doing this work. So let's say you think, okay, I know that I want to achieve whatever. I want to achieve this peace, this love, this connection. I want to feel better. And I know that practicing the superpower is going to get me there, and practicing the new memories. So new childhood memories and the superpower. That's what I want to do, but I'm avoiding it. Okay, so now notice, where am I looking when I think of doing it? So when I think of doing this thing, what am I thinking about? What am I focused on? So I could be focused on, I just don't feel like it, and then I look there. I don't feel like it. I feel tired. I feel resistant. I feel. Then that's where I'm going. If perhaps I'm thinking, oh, well, I'd rather watch TV, or I'd rather do something else, or I'd rather read the news, newspaper, or watch the news, or watch something, or do something else, then that's the direction I'm going to go in. No matter how much I want to do this other thing, I'm going to end up going that direction because that's the direction I'm facing in. Instead, think about the direction you want to end up in. In other words, why do I want to do this thing? What am I going to get from it? So, oh, well, yeah. So if I practice the superpower, I'm going to get to that point where I feel empowered and I feel, energetic, and I feel good, and and then maybe I'll live a wonderful life. Okay, all right, now I'm going in that direction. And the other place you can face is how quick and easy it is. So I don't feel like doing it. Well, yeah, but it only takes like 2 minutes. Okay, well, let me set a timer. I'll just do it for 2 minutes and then I'll do something else. So then I can feel the resistance. Sure, I feel resistance. I feel like avoiding it. I feel like doing the dishes instead. Well, okay, then I'll face this direction first. I'm going to do it for 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is. Or I'm going to practice 3 memories, and then I will do the dishes. So it's about overriding gently overriding the resistance gently by looking in the direction you want to move forward in. So same with physical exercise. I don't feel like doing the exercise. I don't feel like running or walking or doing whatever physical exercise I need to do. Okay, now where am I looking? Am I looking at, oh, it's going to be so hard. It's raining. I don't feel like it. I've got to get dressed. Or am I feeling like, oh, I'd rather stay on the sofa and watch TV? Then those are the directions I'm going in. Instead, if I think, oh, you know what? I'll just go quickly. I'll get dressed quickly. I'll pop out. I'll do it, and I'll come back. And when I come back, I will sit on the sofa and watch TV, or have a cup of tea, or have look forward to the shower. So it's about, where am I looking in the moment? So you start with asking yourself the question, I'm avoiding this thing. So when I think about doing the thing, what am I thinking of? What piece of it am I thinking of? So I hope that helps, Ilja, but let me know if you have more questions or you need more on that, more suggestions. All right, so first up on the list is Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Hey, there you are. Hello, how are you?
Good.
Nice
That
to see
was
you.
a great teaching point. I took a lot of notes and I'm going to go back and rewatch this video.
Oh, good. Thank you.
One small win on my side was when you talked last week about the need to do, whenever you feel that a certain situation hasn't changed, or a certain memory is still kind of locked in, to do the due justice letter, which I was resistant to that in the beginning. So I did it. I did one for a not a good relationship that I'm having with one of my aunts, and it stemmed from 2019, and I'm still holding on. And but I took some time to write like 4 hours of what I just let it out. So that was really, I felt a release from just doing that exercise. And it's been about 4 days or so, and I have, because I swear every other day a memory would seep into my mind about that said incident. So I think, just thank you for that.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Sarah, as well, to encourage others. Good job, you.
Yes, thank you so much. One of the things that I want to work on today, or what I need your assistance on today, is I have 2 children. One's 11 and one's 21. And I was never the best parent in parenting the older one, because I did as I was shown, my upbringings in Jamaica. But the youngest one, would, you know, all the work that I've been doing over the years, I'm more present with him, not trying my best not to repeat the things of the past with him. But my daughter, so the incident, it started like last week. She just moved out of our house, so in February. So this is her first time away from home on her own. So she called me like at 10 o'clock at night and said, "Mom, I am locked out of my apartment. The key fob isn't working to my apartment. So, you know, what should I do?" I said, "Clearly there should be a number on your, if you go downstairs to the office, there should be some number for after hour support."
Right.
So she said that she wasn't able to get a number. There wasn't anything that would help her with the after hour support. So at the end, we're on the phone for 10 minutes. She cannot get into the apartment. So I was like, "Okay, what are you gonna do?" She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to my friend so-and-so house." And then I felt hurt by that, because she just vacated our house. And in our home, she was occupying 2 rooms. So there are 2 vacant rooms at our house.
Right.
And there's space for her. And her friend, her best friend, lives in my community. So
Right.
I am this previous community, and she lives with her mother. So I'm feeling like, okay, why would you intrude on their space when you have a space? So I was like, okay, I even got off the phone with her, and I was just deeply troubled by that. And this is not the first time. Of course, this is the first time with this incident, but I remember even having a conversation with her, I think maybe in January. We had gone out to do some plant shopping. And I was telling her, you know, I just wish we had a closer relationship. We do have a close relationship, but I guess I feel like I want to be her best friend, you know. That's so,
yeah.
I'm about to tear up. Yeah, so I definitely, there is something that's anchoring it.
Yes,
you know, so.
absolutely. So first of all, well done for being here, Sarah, and well done for reaching out about this. Excellent job. And so let me ask you a couple of things. First of all, what does it mean to you that your daughter said she was going to go and stay at her friend's place instead of asking you if she could come back home?
Because I feel that most of the time, like when a child is in need of help, they go to their parent. And I am a very cool parent. So there's, you know, and my husband, we're not like a lot of the parents that I hear stories about. So I just feel that, I don't know, deep down, it's the need to be wanted.
Yes.
So,
spot on. There it is. That's what I figured. Okay, so because of course it's not about your daughter.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
this is about little Sarah and presumably her mum.
Yes, definitely.
Right. So your daughter is now representing your mum from when you were a child.
Yeah.
Your mum doesn't want to, you know, she doesn't want to come, or you to be with her, whatever that was, where she left. She went away and you stayed with, if I'm remembering correctly, you stayed with your.
I grew up with my biological mother.
Right, that's it, yes. And so let me ask you this, when you think of your childhood and your biological mother right now, what's there?
That's a struggle, Odille. Like, it's very hard because she wants to get a relationship with me, but it's like I'm in my 40s and I never had a relationship with you. So it's kind of crazy to get like a strong relation. Like, for example, in 2019, I took my kids, we went to vacation in Jamaica. And she wanted me to come to visit her. And I'm like, you need to come and visit me. I came all the way from the United States. You should find a way to come and see me. But like my paternal grandmother, like I love her so much, because she raised me and she really loves me. I will do anything. I would never tell my paternal grandmother, oh, you come to our resort to visit me. I go see her. I want to see her. Right. So there is that, I don't know, there's just so much to heal there. There's like, I don't know.
And so let me ask you this, due justice letter that you wrote, was that to your mum?
No, it's to my aunt.
Oh, to your aunt, that's right. Yes. And have you ever written one to your mum?
No, I haven't. A lot of resistance but yeah, she probably the first candidate for
That's the place to start. Definitely. And tell yourself that it's okay, even if you just write one sentence. Just make a start.
No, I have a lot to write with her.
I'm sure. But reassure that, if you've got a child who has to do homework, and it's like, I don't want to do homework, I don't want to do it. And then, so you want to reassure them and say, just start doing a little bit.
Yes.
Just do a little bit and then you can stop and you can do a little bit more later. You don't have to finish it all in one go. Talk to yourself like that. Okay. Because it is the child in you that's resisting.
Yeah.
It's that little you that's resisting writing this letter. So reassure that part of you and say, it'll be quick. We don't have to spend 4 hours. We can do just a little bit, do 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And you'll probably find that although you want to mean that, you'll probably find that once you start, it gets rolling. And then you'll probably do it all in one go, but don't put the pressure on yourself that you have to, because that will just perpetuate the resistance. So answer the resistance with, it's okay, even if I just do 1 sentence, 2 sentences, 5 minutes, I'll set the timer.
Yeah.
I'll set the timer and I'll just write something. And then, of course, you can keep going if you want to. Right, just to break that resistance and get that started, because I suspect that that's going to be the key to being able to then change your mum. So because your mother, obviously, whatever program she had going, we don't know, but if you write the due justice first, make sure you get all of that stuff out with no excuses, no reasoning, no forgiving or anything like that, just let her have it. And then once that's done, you will probably find you're able to change her childhood so that she would have grown up to a different person, and would have been a different wife and a different mum.
Okay, so is that the order? So the due justice, then change. That's another thing. I don't want to take up all the space today, but yeah, like Swasti and we have been talking just so that I can have an accountability partner to do this work. And I wasn't sure, we had talked about like a roadmap, but there is one call, I think, that you may have addressed this about having like a day-to-day action plan, which I have yet to listen to. So you don't have to reiterate what's on the call, because I'll go back and listen to it today. But the due justice, because before you had helped me change helped me with the Steppingstones, needed to change a few memories, which I still have to. But I think, as you said, I think this due justice letter will help to release a lot of the resistance or hesitancy in shifting those.
Definitely. And your mum is definitely the place to start, because if you think about it, imagine that baby girl. Imagine that through her eyes, that her mother wasn't there and chose to not be there. Imagine what that means about who I am and how the world works.
Yeah.
And then that is forming the foundation of everything else.
Okay.
Everything else, including your relationship with your daughter.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's wonderful to know, because, the reason that's so wonderful to know and so empowering is because you can change all of that, and then you'll find your relationship with your daughter changes automatically.
Okay. Okay.
Does that
Just
sound
a
good?
couple of words, and I did send you a private message, Sarah, but just for everybody else as well, that when you're doing the due justice letter is not an end in of itself. So you want to do the due justice letter so you have something that's emotional release, get out whatever's there. But then the next step is to go back and revise the memories, to revise that relationship, whatever is there. You want to go back and now change that to opposite, positive, and empowering.
Yeah, and I was going to make this a teaching point at some one day, because Steve and I were talking about this the other day. Just clarification that think of the due justice letter as a plunger, like a drain plunger. It's to unblock the drain, but it's not going to wash the dishes. So you unblock the drain with the plunger, and then you still need to wash the dishes. So you use the due justice to bring down the resistance and help that little you feel safe and that justice has been done. She's got, or she or he's got closure, and then you can change the memories.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's a good analogy there.
Okay, so yeah, so the due justice letter, then changing her childhood memories, and then changing the few that I've had with her.
That's right. And more, even more than changing them, create the new ones.
Okay.
So I would say the easiest way to do this with the tools we now have is, once you've done the due justice letter, see if you can create the bookmark memories for your mum. So as you read through those bookmark memories, the 6 of those bookmark memories, imagine it as the little her, that little child that was your mum.
Mm-hmm.
And then do the same for you. So you'll create those bookmark memories with your birth mum and your birth dad.
Okay. But one of the things, Odille, that, and this is my last point here, because I have such faint memories with my mother, I cannot even picture what she looks like. I've only seen my mom 3, 4 times max, as you know, so I don't even know. I can imagine my dad, but I cannot even put a face on my mother, and in the bookmark memories. So I guess I don't know.
And so that's a great question, Sarah. So thank you for asking it, because this goes for everybody. I never knew my dad when I was growing up, but I couldn't remember him at all. He left before I was, before I was 3 or something. I can't remember. I don't really know. But so I didn't know anything about him or what he looked like. I saw photographs later at some point, but when I thought of my dad, I just had an impression of, this is my dad. So I couldn't tell you what his face looked like or anything like that, but I just knew this is my dad. So it's the feeling of it, and understanding your brain making that link between this person and this experience and these emotions, as opposed to specifically what they look like. It doesn't matter what they look like, as long as you know this is them. So you can choose, if you want to be, if you are visual and you want to have something, you can create anything.
Okay.
Whatever feels like it makes sense. Does that help?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I'm definitely
very welcome. You're very welcome. And for everybody as well, when you think of things like, I didn't know that person and I don't know what they look like, so I'm having trouble with the memory. Remember that the part of your brain that is saying, I didn't know, that knows I didn't know the person, that knows I don't know what they look like, is the cortex. That's the conscious mind, the part that you are thinking with. Your subconscious, the unconscious part of your brain, that is the one where we're changing these memories, doesn't know that and won't question it. If you're getting any kind of logical questions, it's from your thinking mind. So hopefully that will help as well to go, oh, well, my subconscious doesn't know that. I'll just make something up.
Yeah.
You know, I think that we naturally do that kind of thing. I'm remembering listening for years as a kid to a radio personality. It was like a morning radio personality.
Yes.
And there was somebody also on National Public Radio here in the States, Garrison Keillor. And if anybody knows the name Garrison Keillor, it's like I had a completely different idea of what he looked like. You know, I listened to him for years, and then I saw his face. I'm like, oh, that doesn't match what I. So we can do it in opposite. We can create anything we want. If your subconscious, if it's not there, your subconscious will create something and will accept it.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. So thank you, Sarah, for sharing, because I know it helps others as well. Good job, you. All right. And next up is Tina. Hi, Tina.
Hello.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm good. I supposed to take my name out, but I didn't. And good, because I have questions.
Well, there you go. Good.
First, thank you so much for the teaching point. You just clarify if I'm doing the good thing. So also, I have a question. I was working on the Steppingstone. You helped me where I was smoking cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
So I did those 2 stepping stones when my mom came to the room and I'm smoking. I offer her a cigarette. We have fun. The second is when my sister is telling me she's going to tell on me on my mom. And I said, just go ahead. And I say, Mom, I call her like I'm smoking. She said, oh, great. Do you have some? Because I ran out of mine.
Yes.
I love this. They are the best memories I ever have.
Good.
So then I was going more, like you told me to switch the cigarettes to some game or water.
That's it.
And I was like, I like those stepping stones. Feels so good. But I create, like my mom is coming with the water, we drink water, and she brought the cards. Let's play.
Right.
Do you want to play some part of this? I said, of course. So we have this.
Good.
And then it's another one when I'm waiting, not scared, listening, where is she when I'm smoking? Instead of that, I am like listening if she's coming. Oh, she's coming. And she's telling me the good news. We're going to go to travel somewhere.
Yes.
So I did that. But I love those 2 stepping stones with the cigarette. Yes. And my question is if I can keep them as a new memory. Why? The reason is because for the first time, I felt I can do what I want, if it's bad or good, no matter what. Because this was like that in my childhood. Whatever I wanted to do, I couldn't. If it was even good, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let me ask you this. Do you smoke now?
No, I don't smoke like 15 years now.
Okay. And tell me why you don't smoke now.
My body just rejects. When I smoke, I almost faint and just.
And so you have no desire to smoke?
No, sometimes when I'm like down, sometimes like I have enough of something or I'm like feeling bad. I feel like maybe I start to smoke again, but I say, no, never again. I don't want to smoke.
Good. All right. So because the reason we would take the smoking out and put something else in is because the brain also makes a link between substances that we are addicted to and love, connection, and that. And we don't want that, of course, because we don't want you to be thinking, oh, you know what I need is a cigarette. Right?
The thing is, it's not about cigarette. I don't feel anything to the cigarette. What I feel I can do it. Even this, like she doesn't care and she just join me.
That's why, so that's why I'm saying that in this case, absolutely keep those memories, right?
Okay.
Keep those stepping stones as memories because that's the feeling in them. That's what they represent for you. And the reason I'm clarifying the rest is for others. If you have like a similar situation with cigarettes or something, and you find yourself wanting to smoke, then you need to change the cigarettes for something else. But in your case, it seems that that's a perfect, that's perfectly fine because it's not about the cigarettes, it's about the other piece, which is very, very powerful, that I am allowed to do it. There's no reason to hide, and someone else will join in with me if they want to.
And my mom, that's like huge, like really? That's awesome. That's
Perfect.
fantastic.
Yeah. I think that's wonderful. Well done, you. And so the answer is yes, keep those.
Okay, awesome.
All
I
right.
love them. They are the best ever. I just laugh all the time when I go
Good.
there. It's awesome.
Good. And that's
Thank you
because
so
they
much.
represent safety and love and connection.
And freedom. Freedom is like, I can do what I want.
Yay, well done. Good for you. And thank you for sharing as well.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, and next up is Jessica. I don't think Jessica's in the room. I don't see her. Okay, so we'll move Jessica to next Monday. And so Swasti is up next. Hi, Swasti. Just moving Jessica's name here. Paste. There we go. How are you today, Swasti?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good.
Well, so I just want to say thank you for this, well, like helping me literally every day for a year. So this weekend, I literally, all this like method, changing your focus, superpower and everything, it helped me kind of, well, it literally saved me from like multiple panic attacks. So yeah, thank you for that. And
very well.
Like, arranged marriage thing is actually kind of worse than I thought it was. So my mom, because I was just anticipating like, oh, this is gonna happen, this might happen kind of thing. But actually my mom kind of just said it to me. Oh yeah, this is happening. And so so the teaching point that you had about making the worst case scenario, like making peace with the worst case scenario, that's really helpful. So I think the main thing here is like that. So you said stop it at its early stages before it gets like worse. And I think, yeah, 100%. But what that involves is that communication, which I don't really, like communicating with your parents and saying like, this is wrong.
Okay.
So, and I couldn't do that.
All right, so let's look at, so first of all, well done for bringing it here. So when you say your mum said it, what did she say?
Well, she quite literally said, so it was like a whole conversation. My dad gave me a lecture. He was like, keep your end goal in mind when you go to medical school. Like, don't deviate from it. Don't be involved with boys and stuff. Okay, fine. Like, I mean, I'm going to do what I want. I don't really care. But, and then my mom says, oh, like, my sister had a love marriage. And I don't really like that phrase because every marriage should be love marriage, but and she said, yeah, that's not happening with you because it ended so badly. And I thought, oh, like, uh-oh. And at that moment, that was like that weakness, adrenaline feeling, that Tina I think had last week. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to collapse.
Yes. Okay, very good. And so let's break it down a little bit. So first of all, let me ask you, what do you think your parents' worst fear is right now with you going off to university? What do you think they're most frightened, the worst case scenario for them?
Yeah, I think they feel like a little threatened by me. It's like, so my mom said recently, it's like, I've seen so much change in you in the last 2 months that I haven't seen in your whole life. That's a good thing for me anyway.
Right.
But I think it's that ability like to do what I want that they don't like that.
Right. Okay. And so so they're worried, but why do you think they're worried about you doing what you want? What do you think, like literally the worst thing that can happen? What do you think that is for them? So let's say you do what you want.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Why are they worried about that?
I think a part of it is like they didn't get to choose. So why should this child get to choose? But also like making the wrong decisions. But basically my dad chose my like his sister's husband. So everybody's arranged basically. And that marriage went really badly. Well, it's still going badly. So it's not like if he chooses, it's going to end up well.
Right.
So.
Okay. And so let's say you, so the reason I'm asking what they're, looking through their eyes is because it helps us to navigate and to continue to treat with compassion while still standing our ground if we can see a little bit from their point of view. So I would think that one of their fears is that you're going to go off to university and meet someone else.
Yeah,
and end up with someone else, perhaps pregnant, and end up in a relationship with someone that they would disapprove of, right? And whatever connotations that has. So what they need then is reassurance that it's okay. And if it was me, what I would do is when they say things like that, just, okay, thanks. I'm not thinking of marriage right now. It's the last thing, on my mind. I'm thinking of my medical things, of my studies. And while at the same time being reassuring that part of you, you are not being put in an arranged marriage right now, are you?
No. Yeah, that's what got me out of that, like, really bad state. It was like, this is going to happen in like 4 to 6 years, whatever.
Right.
It's not
So
happening
you've
right
got
now.
plenty of time, right?
Yeah.
So, and presumably when it does happen, you'll be asked or told or something at some point, right? It'll be introduced to you. Now we found a person for you. Is that right? We found a husband for you.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Right. So, well, I mean, you can't get married without you being there, right?
Yeah.
So fortunately you have to sign something.
Yeah.
So you can, so when I said sort of nip it in the bud, what I want to clarify is when it comes to that point. So let's say they say, okay, so now we are going to start looking for a husband for you. I would say you can answer, but you can only do this, of course, when you are feeling safe and at peace inside yourself. Then you could you'll know what to say, but it could be something along the lines of, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, but I'm not interested in getting married right now. I want to focus on whatever. So that you've been honest and you've said, so you're not going along with it until it's too late. And it's like, okay, here's your dress. Okay, now you're at the altar or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by catching it early. But at this stage, there's no reason to confront them because right now they're worried about you going to university and what that means. So if you were to argue with them now or say, oh, I don't want to be in an arranged marriage, I want to marry for love or anything like that, that's just going to amp up their stress chemicals and make them more and more frightened. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
So all you need to do right now is just say, oh, yeah, it's not something I'm thinking about now. There's lots of time. I'm not, I haven't even thought about it. So that you don't get into those arguments. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good. And so having decided that that's the strategy, now you can reassure that little you. It's okay. We're not talking about it now. Nobody's getting married. We are just going to university. How does that sound? How would that sound? How would that, I mean, really as if you are talking to a child that you've adopted. So imagine you've adopted this child and now she's terrified that she's going to be put in an arranged marriage. What would you say to her?
Yeah, it's not happening right now.
Right, right. And, the way I would approach it as well and the reason I'm saying this now is it's another way of reassuring yourself is that if it comes to that in the future, whenever 4 years time or whatever, number one, you're going to be a different person because going to university is going to change. All of life's experiences change who we are, we develop, we grow. So number one, you'll be a different person. So you'll probably handle it differently anyway. You may feel differently about it. But the approach I would choose for this is they're trying to help me.
Yeah.
Which is the truth. They want to protect you. And so then you can approach with gratitude. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But I'm okay for the moment. Thanks. I don't need it, but I really appreciate you helping me. I appreciate that you care about me, so that you're acknowledging the intention you decide they have. Whether they had that intention or not doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for everybody. Everybody who feels like someone's going to try and talk them into something or make them do something they don't want to do, approach it from the point of view of, they're offering me a biscuit and I don't want one. They are, thanks, really, thank you, but I'm okay, thanks. I don't need one. So that keeps keeps the fight stuff down, keeps the arguments down. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, what sticks out is the whole communication thing. Like, I don't know. So that thing I said on, what was it, Friday, about like freezing in front of boys. I think, okay, so what it is every interaction is a potential for a relationship. So my subconscious is going, no. Like, yeah. And then that's why the freezing happens. So I think
that's right. Yes, I think you're absolutely right. It's keeping your guard up. And so then two things. Number one, that's another reason for seeing them as 5-year-olds, because that will change the way you interact with them, and it will change the dynamic between you and the guy as well, so that it won't be like, oh, now we're flirting and with this, that, because it's a little boy. It's a 5-year-old boy, and you can be kind and compassionate and not threatened. Now, and having said all that, of course, still being safe. So, not ending up walking alone or alone in someone's room or anything like that. So taking sensible precautions, but just in general social situations or in class, you can speak to people as if they're, think of it as a little boy. That's number one. And then number two, of course, you want to change the references. So how do you know that this exists, this thing of boys and girls and relationships, and that you're not supposed to have a relationship with a boy? Where did you learn that, or what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
Well, there was this girl in India, like in the village kind of area, where, well, there used to be a lot of like affairs and like illegal affairs. Basically, like people would get married and then have affairs, I remember this one specific incident where this girl, she got pregnant before she got married. And okay, firstly, you can't do that because, well, obviously you can't get pregnant before marriage there, but also like you can't choose who you like, so that's I remember that incident quite well. And she got, I think I said this before, but she got electrocuted for like being pregnant, so she ended up dead with a child. So that's what sticks out now.
And so, of course, the first thing that pops into my mind is that you as a child should never have known that happened.
Yeah.
So however you found out about that, so were you told, or you see it on the news? How did you know about it?
Well, as I say that now, I can see it, but I know that my auntie told me, like my dad's mom. Dad's sister.
Okay, great. Good. So your auntie told you, so you can remember her telling you?
Yeah, but I can see more of like,
yes,
the whole
actual incident. Yes, yeah. And that's a great example. That is what happens. This is why we treat everything as a real memory, because when we're just told something, our brain automatically forms the memory. So you might as well have been there. And so for all you know, it may not have actually happened. She may have just told you that story to frighten you. We don't know, right?
Yeah.
But because the brain can't tell the difference between reality and imagination, it might as well have happened. You might as well have been there. So that's why we need to change it. So let's see if what we want to end up with is that what actually happened is it was something else, obviously. So, instead of being electrocuted in trouble, it was a big party. She's doing a trick of some sort. She's riding a unicycle, something amazing. She is jumping on a trampoline. She's, being given a prize for something. So something big is happening, but in a very positive, rewarding way. That's what we want to end up with. Now, the first thing you do is see if you can imagine that. And if you can't, or if something stands out, then you change those pieces and find any roots for it. So you create that, and then you want to create the act of your aunt telling you, because that's a different piece of, that's a separate piece of data. So then your aunt is telling you something exciting about it, or she's telling you about that. Does that make sense?
Got it. So that's missing, because as you say, I can see the whole, like, so it's a party where, so I could see the skeleton almost like being electrocuted, which is nasty. But so I changed, you told me to, yeah, I think it was you who told me to change it to a skeleton costume, a Halloween.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So I changed that. But like the bit about her, my auntie saying it to me.
That's the piece that's missing. Fantastic. So you can tell, you can imagine that differently now with her telling you something fun and exciting. Your aunt. So instead of
just saying, like, someone's come to visit, let's go.
Great. And make sure that it's very exciting. So remember, for everyone, remember that when you change a negative memory to a positive memory, the positive needs to be very exciting to make up for the intensity of the stress chemicals, because feel-good chemicals aren't as strong as stress chemicals, because stress chemicals are for survival. So therefore it needs to not just be okay, it needs to be, oh, that's fantastic, because then you've got more of the stress chemicals.
Yeah, I think also there's this feeling of like something looking really good and then it turns out really bad. So okay, so what happened also was, so I was supposed to get my menstrual cycle yesterday and it didn't happen again. So I've skipped it again. And I thought, oh, last month I was so happy. I was like, yay, I recovered, whoopee. Now it's not happening again. And I think, oh, I've got to go back to, I don't really know what to, well, I do know what to do, but I don't know if it's going to work now. But, it was a very like heightened state, told the world like, yay, I achieved this. And then it comes flashing down.
Ah, very good. Okay. And any references come up for that feeling?
Yeah, so it's like when my parents came to visit, like whenever they came to visit. Well, they didn't visit often in the first place. There was like very lack of communication with them, and like speaking on the phone just didn't exist. So.
And what was it like
when they came? I know that feeling is there.
Okay, good. So let's say you could wave a magic wand. What would you change it to when they came to visit or when they came to see you? What was that expectation, and what would you make it if you could?
If they should come here to stay.
Oh,
because we're going back. But also, like, when they came, they wouldn't really be like paying attention to me.
yes.
You know, it was always like they would bring all this candy for like other children. I remember showing them my tuition homework or something I'd done like really well, and they just kind of kept unpacking without looking at me. I thought,
right. Well, that'll do it. That'll do it, definitely. So make sure that have you changed that memory or not yet?
No, it just came up now.
Oh, good. Okay. So then change it, of course, to where they're packing. You walk in, as soon as you walk in, they stop the packing and they, oh, hi, oh, there you are. And then you show them your tuition homework and they respond the way they should have responded. Oh, we're so proud of you. This is yours. You sure you did this? Yes. Wow. And perhaps one of them says to the other, she takes after me, like a little joking between them.
Okay. And there was initially like a run towards them. So the tuition was like a couple, I would say a mile away to the house where the parents came. So I think it was this initial run as well, like this anticipation. Oh, it comes crashing down. I think that's what it is.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So yes, so I would you could perhaps do some stepping stones, see how it feels. But so you could do, for example, a stepping stone where you run to the house, the anticipation is building, you arrive and they don't respond and you go, excuse me, I'm showing, and they go, oh, I'm sorry. So you've been able to use your voice to to get there, to get that response, just as a stepping stone. Then, of course, you get there and you can create one where you arrive at the house and they already know that you've got something, or they know, they are celebrating you. They've come, you know, they're there and they've got a party, they've got a present, a gift, something like that. You arrive and they're like, they've been waiting for you. So the stepping stone is they're packing, then they stop their packing straight away to pay attention to you. And that's what they want to do. You know, you're their top priority. And then the final memory is you're running home to show them the tuition homework or whatever that was. And when you get home, there's a surprise because they're waiting for you with some big celebration. So that you're switching that from you expect something and then it's a letdown to you expect something and it's even better. So the surprise element is a positive instead of a negative. Does that make sense?
That
So we
makes
still
sense.
got the surprise element in there.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Yeah, because I was thinking, okay, the final memory will be that always there, but that's already there. Like, I can see that now.
Yes, that's right. This is different data. This is separate pieces, which is wonderful that you've been able to find that.
Yeah. Okay. I got
All
it.
right.
Yeah. Thank
Good
you.
job, sweetheart. You're very, very welcome. Well done. All right. And Camilla. I don't, yes, there you are. Hello, Camilla.
Hi,
Hi, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. Do you want to do this like tomorrow?
No, we're all right to do it today because tomorrow we won't be we're taking Tuesday to Friday off this week because we're driving to New York. So it'll be next Monday. So I'm happy to go on today as long as there's anyone needing it.
Okay. So I have a question or a problem that I need help with.
Oh.
So the other day, I think it was yesterday. I had like a little like discussion with my mom because he came to my grandma's house at night at 1 a.m. So when she does that, she usually is upset, and sometimes she drinks, so she's in a bad mood and very difficult to deal with. So I opened the door because my grandma lives just in front of me. So I opened the door because I was like obsessing about the dog, like escaping, not being at home, because sometimes he does that. And my mom was there, so I was like the dog, and he was okay. So I closed the door, and I went to sleep. And the next day, my mom called me, and I was talking to her, and I asked her, were you at grandma's house yesterday at night? And she said yes. She asked me because she was able to hear the door when I closed, and she asked me, why didn't you like came to say hi? And I explained to her that when she's when she does that, it's usually because she's angry or in a bad mood. So I didn't want to deal with that because that triggers me a lot, and usually I can't sleep after that. So she told to me that she was perfect, that she was like she didn't drink anything, and I should have say hi to her. But I didn't know that she was fine because she usually is not. And she was offended by that. And I had this feeling of what I feel is not valid because the only valid thing is what she feels, like always, because she's not thinking when she does those things that she does, when she has those episodes, she never thinks about how that affects the rest of us. She thinks about her perspective, which, I mean, it's okay, I respect that. But when I tell her those things, how I feel when she does those things, she's very like invalidating to me. And that triggered me because it's like there's no wonder why I have such trouble speaking my mind and saying what I think and being myself. And yesterday I cried a lot and I felt like very, very vulnerable and not empowered at all. And I need help with that.
Ah, very good, Camilla. Well done for bringing this, sweetheart. So, of course, we can't change her. So, you know, whatever she's doing is about her programs and her issues and has nothing to do with you. The only thing we can change is your experience inside you of her. And so where we want to get to, the end result we want to get to is that, you know, for example, she's there and she says to you, oh, why didn't you say hello? That you're able to say, oh, sorry, yeah, I should have said hello. I was, you know, I didn't feel like it, or I wasn't feeling well, or something like that. And it doesn't mean anything to you. So at the moment, it means something. At the moment, her saying that to, you know, why didn't you say hello? And you explaining to her, and then her not acknowledging it and discounting what you said and saying, oh, no, well, I was fine, and whatever she said, that means something about you.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's the little you that's feeling hurt, that's feeling unacknowledged. And so what we want to do is change the references for that, so that when you were a child, you were always acknowledged. And when, you know, you want to create memories of you talking and both your parents listening and acknowledging and understanding and responding. So let's look at that feeling that made you cry, that feeling when you were crying. What comes to mind from childhood, even if it doesn't appear to make sense?
The feeling was fear.
Fear. Okay.
Yeah, and not being able to like make my point, which I think is fear again.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So now let's look at, have you created new memories where that little you is able to speak and she's being heard and acknowledged and it feels safe to speak?
Yes, I have memories for that. And yesterday I replayed those.
Good job. Very, very good. And so now when you think of being heard, understood, believed, and all of that as a child, anything pop up from your childhood?
Yes, I still see my mom. I was so scared of her because she was so mean, and I could do anything. And sometimes that part is still there. So I have like a first layer of like good memories, you know, that I replay those, so I feel better. But in the deep of, you know, the deepest side of myself, I still have like something with that still.
Oh, good. So let's go there. Let's go to the worst one. The worst, the deepest, the worst, the darkest. What's there?
The thing that came into my mind is my mom being very, very angry and me thinking, this woman is going to kill me.
Oh, very good. So let's go there now. And how strong are the emotions there right now? 0 to 10.
Maybe a 6 or a 7.
Okay, 6 or 7. And do you have a visual? Are you looking at something? You're hearing something? How's it represented for you?
I see her face, like my mom.
Right, good. Okay, so now I want you to see if you can change her face, if you can. See if you can put a moustache on her. Are you able to do that?
Yes.
Good. And see if you can put, make her eyebrows very long. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Can you change her hair, put a wig on her?
Yes.
Good job. Very good. And how are the feelings now?
A little better.
Okay. And so as you do this, I want you to see if you can imagine her playing a role, like she's pretending to be cross, but she's being a character.
Yes. In fact, I did that yesterday, where it's like we are all acting and there's like a director and say, okay, this scene was very good, and we are like very happy and commenting on this scene that we just performed.
Very good. And so coming back to this moment where she's got this angry face, and I want you to see if you can see her. She can't stop from laughing. So she's doing the angry face and then she bursts out laughing. Are you able to do that?
Yes.
Good, good. So she's playing around. So now when you think of that, just play that again in your mind. So you can put on some music or play that scene that you've just played through and end it in laughter where she can't help herself. She starts laughing.
It feels like better regarding my mom, but it's like I have like a memory that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I think about almost dying.
Almost dying. Very
Yes,
good.
the little me is like, okay, so mom in this thing is not a danger, but
Okay.
there is a danger.
Okay, very good. And how do you know that you're almost dying?
Because I have the feeling.
You have the feeling. What's the feeling like? What kind of, like, how, if I would want to feel it, what would I do?
I see like black, and I feel like when you realize you are going to die, or or something like very bad, and like wanting to escape the situation but not being able to.
All right, very good, Camila. You're doing very well, sweetheart. Good job. And so now I want you to notice that feeling of I'm going to die. Whereabouts in your body are you feeling that feeling?
In my chest.
In your chest. Good job. And what kind of sensation is it in your chest?
It's like a heavy sensation, like
Sensation, good.
like black.
Sorry, like
Black, like the color is black, and it's like tingly.
tingly. Okay,
So
good
it's
job.
not that bad. It's
Mhm.
like the sensation with the thought.
Yes, yes. Okay, very good. So I want you to notice that feeling in your chest, that heavy black sensation, that tingliness. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. And now I want you to just allow it to be there. It's okay. So you can feel that feeling, but you're not actually going to die. There is no actual physical threat to your life right now. So that sensation is just a sensation. That black, tingly, heavy feeling, it's just a sensation. Can you allow it to just be there? And it's okay to feel it. Can you do that?
Yes.
Very good. And what happens as you do that? As you just allow it to be there, it's okay to feel it. Does it get more? Does it get less? Does it stay the same? Does it change?
It feels like better, like it feels like heat,
Heat. Yes.
tingly sensation, but not like bad sensation.
Good. Very good. And now as you just allow it to be there, I want you to take a deep breath and imagine stepping back from it so that this black, tingly, heavy sensation is in front of you now. Can you do that?
Yes.
Very good. Good job, Camila. And now I want you to ask that black, tingly, heavy sensation as if it's an entity. What does it need?
It needs to be like acknowledged,
Yes.
because what that feeling like is telling me is we almost died at some point, even if you don't remember, and I have to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Very good. Good job, Camila. That's excellent. And you're spot on. That's the survival instinct. So now I want you to give that entity, that black, tingly, heavy feeling, that reassurance that yes, we did almost die. That's true. Can you do that?
Yes.
And it's okay because we're not dying right now.
Yeah.
And can you thank that entity for keeping you safe?
Yeah.
Good. Very, very good. So how does that feel as you do that?
It feels good.
Now that entity, that black, heavy, tingly feeling, wants to go and live somewhere. Where does it want to go and live? It can live anywhere it likes.
I have like a very beautiful like place like where these like feelings go when they are okay and they are still in contact with me. So it's like I gave like this black feeling like an important role. So he can't like speak to me if he needs to tell me something important. So I'm going to pay attention to him. So there's no need to create like this like a stream, this fear.
Perfect, Camila. I'm so proud of you. So can you do that now?
Yeah.
Good. Very, very good. Well done, you. Okay, so now that's that. So now I want you to think of your mum and what's there now as you think of your mother.
I feel that this feeling like it has to do with her, like her doing something that put my life at risk, maybe unintentionally. And
Very possible.
yeah, it's like, when I think about her, I have like a little bit of resentment because she's not going to recognize this.
Okay. And now, of course, your brain, that subconscious part of your brain, that unconscious part of your brain doesn't know that she won't.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that she does.
Yeah.
So I would say create a new memory of your mum sitting you down and telling you the story of when she put your life in danger unintentionally, and have her apologize for it. How would that feel?
I think it will feel good. I can like write an apology letter also.
Yes, good idea. Very good.
One thing that also like I think helps me is like when I do like a stepping stone for these kind of things, I do a stepping stone of my mom like crying. Because at first I was like I can't create a stepping stone of my mom crying because that's not positive. But if she cries, it means that she cares.
That's right. Yes, spot on. You're quite right there, and that's perfect. So she's showing that she cares, that she regrets, which equals I care. So that's perfect. Yes, absolutely. Create that stepping stone.
Okay.
All right. And then, of course, the end memory, the final memory. So whatever story she tells you, so whatever she tells you about how, and you can make up anything, whatever feels like it works. However she put your life in danger and you almost died, then create a little stepping stone for that. So once that feels established, that she's told you about it, she's crying, she's remorseful, she's done the apology letter, all of that, then from there, create a stepping stone for that incident, because as you imagine her telling you what happened, your brain's going to form a memory for it. And then you want to change that.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you change it to a stepping stone where she stepped in and saved you. So it was actually okay. Your life wasn't in danger because she took whatever precautions needed to be taken. And then, of course, the final memory is that your life was never in danger. It's never been in danger.
Okay.
And so something exciting instead.
Okay. So when I do that stepping stone with my mom, I actually don't see like anything happening to me. I just have the feeling of her telling like a story, like crying and telling me what happened, but I don't see anything because like the general feeling of it.
Okay. And that's okay then as well. So then just have her tell you this. So once that's established, then do a stepping stone with her telling you that your life was never in danger. She stepped in and saved you, or whatever feels good, whatever's going to make that little you feel, yes, that feels good. That feels I've been acknowledged, I'm safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels the idea of like being able to saving myself in that situation.
And excellent. Put that in as well. So you save yourself as well. It needs all of those pieces.
Okay.
So that little you needs to feel empowered to save herself. She also needs to feel valuable and safe enough for her mother to save her.
Yeah.
Because that's a different piece. And then she also needs to feel like her life has never been in danger. She's always safe.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So those are separate pieces of information. So they're separate memories.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, this was like very deep. I wasn't expecting this thing to come up.
Yes, that's good. I'm so glad that you brought it. I'm so glad you came and reached out.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Camila. Good job, you sweetheart. I'm very proud of you. All right. And so I think that appears to be it for now. I don't see Jessica in the room. So Jessica, when you watch this recording, you're first on the list for next Monday. And so just to remind everyone that we will be, Steve and I are driving to New York tomorrow to move his son to New York. So we will be away that's a 14-hour drive that we're doing Tuesday and Wednesday. And we will be flying back home on Sunday. So the next session we will do will be next Monday morning, same time as usual. There will be a new link for June. So I will post that in the Facebook group. And I think there's 1 or 2 people that don't have Facebook, so I'll email it to you. If you don't have access to Facebook and I haven't emailed you the link, just let me know. Just ask me and I'll send it to you. All right, and thank you everybody for the well wishes for our traveling. We will, and it's my first time in New York, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be exciting. And let's do some targeting. So if you have any time, and also just to clarify, we will be we'll still be in the Facebook group. So if you've got between now and then, reach out in the Facebook group if you've got questions or you need help with anything, and of course supporting each other as well. And we will be on as much as we can answering, supporting. All right, so let's begin. If you've got targets, please share them in the chat and let's start. So take a deep breath and go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. Feeling that opening feeling in your heart, that expansion feeling in your chest. Very good. Allowing that light, that energy to fill all the cells of your body, loving each cell just for existing. Very good. And then allowing that light, that energy to fill your subject. And then imagining that your subject doesn't want to be with you or doesn't have the qualities that you love and admire. Keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Very, very good. And then you can start aiming at your target. Keeping them filled with that light, that energy, loving them anyway, keeping it unconditional no matter what. Very, very good. Shining light into any darkness. And then you can aim at other people's targets. You can check the chat, other people's targets, and aim at those. Thank you, Ilja. That's very sweet of you. Very good. And allowing that light, that energy to fill each other, sending that light, that energy, that love to each other and to those watching the recording. Very good. All right, you can open your eyes if you have them closed. Well done, everybody. So thank you very much for all the well wishes for our traveling, and we will keep in contact through the Facebook group as much as we can. And we will see you back here. It will be a different link, but it'll be the same time next Monday. And look after yourselves in the meantime. Keep watching the recordings as well. You can watch old recordings on the days when we're not doing these live sessions, and of course keep supporting each other as well. Lots of love to all of you now. Bye-bye now.